Hey everybody, welcome back to Sergeant's Talk TV. I'm Big Mike.
Normal size Jason.
That's right, he is. And guys, let me tell you something. The weather is gorgeous. Gorgeous.
What a difference from a week ago.
Right? My chickens are loving it. My rabbits are
yeah.
loving it. My quail are loving it. So, hey, so today I went to my CMP. We talked about this last week. International man or Mr. International, he did email me. Thank you very much. And I emailed back and forth with him. And then I found out that I was diagnosed with my back in 2000. And what I was telling Jason is back then, I was like everybody else. The VA, they suck. I ain't going to the VA because I went there once and I had a bad experience. My only time I went there, and I had TRICARE. So TRICARE in 2013 paid for my back surgery. Okay, so they paid for my back surgery and everything like that. So I didn't deal with them. Then I went overseas. And then I came back and the VA has changed. And so I love my doctor at my clinic here. She is so proactive. She got me a new pair of ears. She got me new shoes for my feet. She got me my surgeries. She got everything. And then she was looking, they had a lost MRI that they tried to build to, they sent it over to my TRICARE doctor, and then TRICARE denied it because they didn't ask for it. So the VA didn't get it. So after all this juggling around months after months and trying to tell them at the hospital in Muskogee, the civilian hospital that does the MRI, I said, hey, Emily Ogden, which is on the order, works for the VA, and you guys tried to charge my TRICARE. And they finally got that. She got everything, and she's going, your back is, this is bad. So she put in a re-eval for me, and she turned in all the MRIs, the x-rays and all that stuff. So finally it got through the system at the VA in Muskogee, and they go, holy smokes. They ordered it. We put me in for a CMP exam, and I went to the guy, and he looked at it, and he was looking at it and stuff, and he's going, wow. He goes, this is bad. Your back is bad. L3, 4, 5, and then your S1, whatever. He goes, oh yeah. And so he did all that. He typed it all up right when I was sitting there. He said, yeah. He goes, this is an easy one.
Yeah, it's always amazing. I mean, this is proof once again, just showing what we've talked about, was when you get the right people, right? You get the right doctor, you get the right nurses, you get the right people at that VA clinic. It is a night and day difference experience at the VA. I had that in Michigan where I went in, and after fighting with several doctors at the old clinic, I go to the new clinic, and yeah, they're like, wait a minute, why don't you have this, and just start slamming you with things.
Right.
It's almost to a point where sometimes it's overwhelming, because you were so used to not getting it.
Right.
But then the other crazy part to me is that transition from when you were active duty and you were seeing, when you had those, like for me, I had pretty much everything that I've got now while I was still on active duty. And them doctors were like, it's just a little bit of this and a little, like, they just played it off. They're like, no, it's not that big a deal. And then I go see the first civilian specialist for stuff, and they're like, you should have had this done years ago. Like, the stark contrast of care between the two, and it's almost like it gets kind of unnerving.
Yeah.
Like you said, he goes in and looks at it and he's like, dude, you're tore up from the floor up. Like, how have you even, and you're like, they told me I was fine. I've got years
And
before
he
I've got to
told
worry
me
about
that is his professional medical opinion. You are tore up from the floor up.
Well, and real quick, it's funny because my uncle was telling me when he was going through, like he got his Marine Corps retirement, got his VA disability and stuff, but then he was going for Social Security disability. Of course, that's a whole nother process, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's in there, and part of their requirement was him go to a therapist and do all this stuff. And it was right around, I think everything was still on lockdown for COVID.
Right.
And so they were doing a televisit. So he was, just on the phone, or doing like a FaceTime kind of thing with the judge and then his lawyers and the doctor. And the judge kind of laughed when he got the doctor's statement of what was going on. And he's like, you know what? I can't even argue with this diagnosis. Like, yep, boom, you're awarded it.
Yeah.
His therapist literally put on it for his diagnosis, does not play well with others. Like, was and of course the judge had asked him about that because was like, wait a minute, aren't you part of a motorcycle riding club? And he's like, well, yeah, but it's all Marines and corpsmen. It was a Marine club.
Yeah.
But yet he can't get in a car and drive down the road. He can't go to a public place and be around a bunch of people, but he can go ride with his MC brothers and stuff. And they're just, I found it hilarious because he's like, yeah, it legit said, hey, does not play well with others.
Hey, so guys, we're glad you're here. Sorry about all that, but we weren't done talking when we were talking offline before this. So you guys got the whole gamut. What's going on?
Yeah.
Updates. Big Mike tore up from the floor up and diagnosed with it too. So, hey, tonight we got a good one for you. We're going to put to rest some rumors that's going around. Everybody, Doge this, Doge that, and everything. But you're going to hear it from the VA secretary's mouth, and we're going to talk about some other rumors that are going around. So we're going to try to clear the air, make you feel a little bit more comfortable, unless you're a conspiracy theorist and stuff like that, and you're taking stuff for some kind of mental breakdown in your brain because of your PTSD. And see, we can talk like that because we're all veterans. I talk to people all the time and they go, how can you say that to that guy? He's in a wheelchair. I said, he's a veteran. He don't mind. Now, because veterans are like family.
Yeah.
You can talk crap about your family, but if somebody else talks about them, they're going to get a black eye. They're going to get knuckles in the eyeball, right?
Right.
It's the same thing with us vets. I mean, we tease each other. It doesn't matter if you got one leg, no leg, whatever. Okay. Throw out a Bob joke, and stuff like that. And it's just the way it is. That's how we interact with each other. And a lot of people think we're nuts, we're crazy, we're insensitive, but that's how veterans talk. Brother to brother, sister to brother, it doesn't matter. That's just the way we talk to each other. And if you served in the military, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But we're going to clear this up. We're going to see some videos, two videos where he's clearing it up. Doug Collins is. And I really like Doug and he just came out with another video today on some other BS, and he's calling it out as soon as it comes out. He says, camera crew, get up here and let's film this thing. And he puts it out, and you're going to hear it from the horse's mouth where you haven't heard it from other ones. Okay. He's an active duty guy. Okay. From the Navy and the Air Force. And he was in Congress. So he knows his way around Washington.
Yeah.
And he's not going to hold no punches back. He's going to, stomp this fire out each and every time.
Yeah.
And like he said, we ain't fired nobody. Nobody's been fired. Nothing's happened so far. And we're going to get to that. Before we do that, let's say hello to the people in the chat.
Let's see. Robin at Good Enough Homestead.
All right. Hey, there is Village Food Season is in here, brand new. Welcome to the channel. Ricky Smith.
Well, Veterans Landing over there.
Veterans Landing. Yep.
There's Eddie, old Devil Dog, hoorah, Semper Fi, brother.
Yeah, Devil Dog. Crayon chewer extraordinaire. Linda Peterson, how you doing? Angie. The chicken, the eggs that we gave Tony, her husband, they've all started hatching. He was at 20 when he sent me a little video. So he's hatching them out for Josh Sherman over at Sherman Family Farm. Because he lost all his chickens and stuff to raccoons and stuff like that. They tore him up. So we gave him he's hatching them, and then he's going to take them down to him in about a week or so or whatever. He's going to take them down there to Josh. Doing someone a favor.
That's what it's all about. There's Jennifer Ocean Homestead. Reminding everybody to hit that like button.
There's our favorite female Marine, Dawn, over at our flipping farmstead.
Ooh, what the?
Let's see. Said hello. Oh, there's Miss Judy Herman. How you doing, Judy? Welcome back in.
Hello, Judy. They're saying hello, everybody. Jesse and Lisa.
Judy. Big Wave, Florida.
There's Big Wave.
Yes, it is.
Yep, Dana Mason. Mike, Terry, Jason, Tara, Tim, and I are lurking. Wish I had a precious Stella. That's my BFF. Yeah. But they're still up at the hospital. Been going on 2 weeks, heavy test and procedures. So our prayers and thoughts are still out with you guys, and hoping Tim's going to pull through this one. I know he's got it.
Yeah. There's Minty Cactus out in Arizona land. Welcome back in. Let's see. Lazy days ahead.
I see a Lorenzo Oliver Outdoors. Says the VA pays full price for all implants and doesn't even bother to negotiate.
Yeah. Hey, there's Karen Breast. How you doing, Karen? Good to see you. Let's see.
We've got a serious question. As a veteran, can I get help with eyeglasses? A vet I work with say it is a once a year eligibility.
Yes, it is. If there's a couple of ways you can do it. You gotta talk to your PA or your doctor and stuff like that. Just depending, and it does depend on how much disability that you have. At 40% disability, they take care of all your medical issues. Anything below that has to be service connected. That's the short answer.
And their typical coverage for that, anyways, is once a year. You get an annual exam, and then a discount maybe on the frames. It all depends on where you're going and stuff. But yeah, I mean that's a pretty much standard that once a year they'll pay for, and it's only like one. Like you can go in and have a contact exam, or you can have an eyeglass exam. Yeah. But they won't pay for both at the same time. So
I'm 70 at this point, and I had my eyes checked by a civilian doctor, community care, and then they send it up to the VA, and they have my prescription. They'll make my glass, and I have to make another appointment to go up there and choose the frames that I want. So I want the ones that Clark Kent wears on the Adventures of Lois and Clark. I like those. Just in case I become, well, after I get all my body parts replaced, I can.
I mean, you'll basically be, like I said, I mean, the outer shell is going to be older, but everything else is still under its 20-year warranty. So you're doing good.
I would like to use the word more mature.
I mean, I was trying to be nice about it because I didn't,
Hey, there's Webb's Webb. How you doing, Ralph?
What's going on, Ralph?
What did Jesse say?
Oh, yeah. So thanks for throwing that out there, Jesse. Yeah, if you want Sergeant's Talk TV merch, I think what you got to go to Mike and Terry at MT Homestead's merch page. Should be right at the top.
And we put it on MT Homestead's merch page. If you go to the About and go down, you'll see merch. Click it. So we didn't have to open up another store and pay for that one also.
Do we have, I guess, a question? I'm just now thinking about this because we may have answered this once before. Do we have that link on our Sergeant's Talk page too? Like in the About description?
No, we should put that on there. I do not have it on, but I will put it on there, and it'll be on every one we do, along with our emails and all that stuff. So you can contact us if you have any questions or you want to learn more about another subject. And we can do a video for that. Oh yeah, and if you're into the community, not just this one, Homestead, whatever community you're in, if you go to check out Webb's Web, he has an events calendar on his channel, and you can go in there and you can check out when meetups are, and like people put out stuff like luncheons and stuff like that. And you want to meet some of the creators that you watch, or you're a creator and you want to know, hey, where's the next meetup? He's got a calendar with all kinds of stuff on it, and you can check those out. Let's see. Lorenzo says, I work at orthopedic surgery. Hey, and see the VA patients that have negative experiences at the VA daily. Has to change. Yeah. I will tell you, I had a negative experience in 2000 when I retired, and I was doing my physical, getting out of the military. It started in January. I went back for a couple of visits to the VA. I said, these guys are freaking out of their freaking mind. And I got depressed listening to all these old vets in the waiting rooms and stuff like that. And now this is 25 years ago. And like I said, I didn't want to deal with them. So I had worked it so TRICARE could pay for my back surgery, because I was living off Motrin, 800 milligram Motrins for 17 years.
As the doctor said, they're not after dinner mints.
They're not after dinner mints. That's what he told me today. And so then later on, I came back and did my world tour and came back, and we settled down, and now we're retired. And I'm going to tell you something. My experience now is nothing like it was back in 2000. Nothing like it. A lot of military were working in the VA and stuff like that. And I don't understand. Maybe it was because I was at Fort Carson. But anyway, I haven't had an unpleasant visit ever since I came back to the States and started using the VA full time. Since I've been back, I think only maybe a couple of times while my application was getting approved so I could use Oklahoma VA care system. I used my TRICARE. And yeah, since it got approved, I haven't used any. I personally have not used anything but the VA now, and I wouldn't use anything else unless it's an emergency and I'm not driving all the way to Muskogee. I can just go to the local hospital. TRICARE can pay for it. VA can pay for it. Who I don't care who pays for it, as long as Big
Right.
Mike, my sergeant major, doesn't have to write a check for it. So anyway, that's the story of my life.
Right.
What's this one? Linda Peterson.
Yeah, any hospital, when they take x-rays or MRIs or CATs or PET scans, you can ask for a copy of it yourself. It has your birthday on it. So
Yeah.
yes, very true, Don. The MC Brothers Sisters special group, if you know, you know.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. I knew a lot of them for the Marine Corps MC. Used to ride with a lot of those guys.
Mm-hmm. See, Vet Earned.
Yep.
Hello. Welcome in.
Welcome in. There's David B. Then what's up, family?
Good to see you, brother.
Yeah. Hey, there's our friend Scott Spencer.
There he is. Thought I'd see what you guys are doing tonight for the first time. Well, Scott, we're glad.
Exactly, we're glad you're here.
Because, guys, Scott is the one that made. I mean, I put the Go On Get me on air, but this window plaque deal.
Yeah.
Scott Spencer, the one on the screen, right? He's the one that made that.
And I was kind of jealous when I seen you get that when we were on the fishing trip. I said, "Man, I want one of those. Those are absolutely cool."
Yes. And he is currently making several more. I know Ricky Smith from Veterans Landing. He's in here tonight in the chat. He got one, and I know Scott's got at least a couple of them. I think two or I don't know. I got to double check with Scott. I know there's at least two for sure that I've got to bring to meetups.
Tim's saying he woke up during a procedure on his lower back today.
Oh, well, evidently our idea of fun is different, buddy. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, talking about with a vision. Yes, if you have something else, then they're going to see you with a vision thing more often. But
exactly.
Angie won't give you superpowers, Mike.
Hello, Miss Charmaine. How are you doing? Good to see you. Let's see.
Brother Jesse just dropping all those links, guys. Make sure you're looking through them. If you've got questions and click on those links, go in there and look. A lot, if not all, of what we talk about on here is stuff that we've looked through all of these websites to get the research, and we use them on a regular basis.
Yeah, we do. And make sure you guys went in there. If you go on to the va.org, if you go into the Social Security, if you do all this stuff, make sure you go in there and get an ID Me account. Just take the time to do it. So every time you log into these government websites, you can use the ID Me, and you don't have to have a long laundry list of passwords and usernames and all that stuff. You can just use your email, and you can use your ID Me, and it'll send you a thing to your phone, and it'll say, put this code in there, boom, you're in.
That's it right there. He dropped that link too. He's on it, like right there. ID Me.
Yeah. Just so simple. For over 50, yep. Now they got that over 65, which is next year for me.
Yeah, take two of these, come back when they wear off, right? Oh, yeah.
Well, see, when I was in the military, if you had any kind of ailments, They come in 1,000 pill. They used to give me these big jugs of 800 milligram Motrins, you know,
Yeah.
and they just go. I said, man, do I need that many? And sure enough, I went back for refills because my back was so screwed up in my last few years in the military.
Yeah.
Oh, it was tore up. There you go. Park Service, if you want that pass, National Park Pass, and we did a video on that also.
We did, and I got mine.
Yeah. Hey, and they have a new one now. One of the VA channels just put it out, and it's going to affect about 1.5 million or a little over 1 million veterans. They extended the if you were on the original GI Bill and then the Montgomery GI Bill, they've Doug Collins and them worked it. They gave you an extra year added to your GI Bill. So check those out too. If you're ones with that.
Right.
Yeah, there's that 1,000 number right there. That's the number you call to file your intent to file. So you get a date when you're going to. Don't do your paperwork first. Call that number. Yes, I'd like to file an intent to file. And they said, okay. And they'll ask you what it's for. Oh, it's for my left hip, my right hip, yada, yada, yada. Whatever you're going to file. That's all they need. So that'll be your start date for your paperwork. Don't wait and do all your paperwork and then file it. You want that start date because if you get approved and stuff, back date, and you have 1 year from your intent to file, and that's the number you use to get all your paperwork in. So there you go. Hey, for Forever Blue Roses, how are you doing? Her dad was a Marine in Korea.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, not to be in Korea, but glad he was a Marine.
Well, we salute your dad.
Absolutely.
Salute your dad.
Lorenzo's saying, yeah, that's great to hear. Be your own advocate. If you don't get the care you want or need, TRICARE is accepted at a lot of places outside the VA.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And, I mean, Mike and I obviously are in that, situation where we can use TRICARE because we retired or the VA. But I know a lot of people that if you didn't stay in long enough, then TRICARE isn't an option for you.
Yeah. Yeah, share this out on your community. If you have a community tab. Yeah. Jesse is. That's why he's called the Mod Father. He is a great moderator.
Always throwing, all the websites are sergeants approved.
That's right. And there is Mr. International. Thank you for emailing me, and I emailed you back. My CMP exam went awesome today. And like I said earlier, I don't know if you were in here, that my PA, after they found my MRI, that the hospital tried to bill TRICARE, and they disapproved it, and they tried to get me to pay something like $579, my part of it. And then I kept telling them the VA ordered it and stuff like that. They finally got it. She looked at it, read the reading, plus the x-ray from my surgeon that did my hips, because he looked at my back, my knees, and my hips, and what he wrote. And they said, hey, you haven't had your back checked on in 25 years. So she put it in there for a CMP to upgrade because the severity and the damage to my back and stuff. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But thank you very much for emailing me.
Was it? Sorry, I was off the chat for a bit. Was getting an update on my in-laws. They're in the hospital at the moment.
Oh,
Well,
God.
Scott, our thoughts and prayers are with you. And you guys know how to get a hold of us if you need something, because Scott only lives about an hour from us here. So if you and Susan need anything, let us know.
Yeah. And that's like, I mean, we went to the Grand Canyon back in 2010 or 11, and it cost us $29 a carload. And then we went to Jackson Hole, Wyoming on our way to, we were going to Korea, and we had to drop off our car in Seattle. We said, hey, let's go see the Grand Tetons and let's go to Yellowstone on the way up there. And we did all that, and I was at Jackson Hole, and some park ranger sat down. He goes, oh, hey, I was buying something. He seen my ID card. He goes, oh, are you military? I said, I'm retired military. And he goes, oh. So, yeah, we just stopped off here to get some brochures because we're going to go to Yellowstone. He goes, oh, do you have a national parks pass? So I gave him they made a copy of my 214 and all that. Didn't have to pay nothing to get into Yellowstone. I said, thank you. And I still have that in my wallet to this day, the original.
No, really?
And I got my state park pass also, which is actually your license plate in Oklahoma. They said, okay, because we only had the Jeep at the time, and we gave them our plate, and still in there to this day. So
nice.
You don't have to pay that daily use fee and all that stuff for the state parks. You still have to, anything else, like if you're going to camp, you get a discount, but you don't get it all free.
Well, and I noticed that when we came to Oklahoma for like the meetups, when I register, because the website requires you to put your driver's, or your license plate for your vehicle on there. And of course, I've got disabled veteran tags, and it comes up as that in the system, so it automatically calculates in the disabled vet discount. So made it nice.
Oh, good.
Awesome,
I'm
Andy.
hoping he's doing a lot better. Yes. And you are definitely in our prayers. There's a shameless plug. We will be live tomorrow at 8 o'clock at MT Homestead. Terry and I, my sergeant major and I.
Can't be too shameless. I mean,
that's right. You're wearing my hat. Well, your hat. Yeah. Hey, we're at the bottom.
We are.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
like Mike said, guys, the new VA secretary has come out and addressed the veterans' proposed benefit cuts and veterans' personal information rumors. And hence we said rumors, guys. Also, there's an article on the VA's website to include a video, which we're going to show you tonight. And at the end of the video, we'll talk over and give you our opinions, personal opinions. So make sure you stick around, because we're going to give you ours. We want to see your comments in the chat of what you guys think about this. But this video pretty much says it all in a very short amount of time. So
yeah, Doug don't pull no punches.
No. I mean, we talked about it, right? When he was going to get nominated, we did a whole episode on, what he planned on doing, coming in and doing these things. And by him doing these videos, because it's one thing for somebody to say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. But are they going to do it?
Yeah.
And for me, like, my personal feeling on it is by him putting these videos out is assuring me as the veteran that he's supposed to be serving, that he's doing what he said he's going to do.
Yeah.
And that's all I ask. Like, if you tell me you're going to do something,
good transparency.
Yeah.
No doubt. All right, so let's get rock and rolling. All right. I'm going to share screen. I can't screw this up this time.
This is where it gets scary, guys. Really watch. And if we go black, we'll come back, I promise, because Mike clicked the wrong thing. So we'll see. Oh man, we're getting there.
Hey everybody, it's Doug again. I can't believe it. I've been here about a week, and you know the one thing that hadn't changed about DC, it's the media up here that like to tell you stuff that they want you to believe. I'm going to give you a breakdown. This is how it happens in the media up here. They take a possibility and then they run with a story because they want you to believe it because they got to write something, and frankly they don't know what to write because right now President Trump is making progress and this administration is doing what it said, making promises and keeping them. But let me tell you one that's right now. There's a one that's going around in the media right now about veterans benefits being cut. I'm the Secretary of VA. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not happening. They can do hypotheticals all they want. I'm telling you about reality. Reality is veterans benefits aren't getting cut. In fact, we're actually giving and improving services in our Veteran Benefits Administration. They're actually clearing cases quicker. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. There's also this rumor out there that Doge is out there, is this infamous thing that's going to take personal information and do that. I'm telling you what, we've got Doge representatives here that are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that is looking at our contracts, making sure that we have the best run facility for efficiency to make sure the veteran gets the care they need. I'm happy to partner with them to find things that we need to get rid of so that we can put the money where it belongs. You know where that is, back with our veteran. President Trump's hit the ground running. We've hit the ground running. And like I'm saying, if you want to come for the real truth, come to see me.
And right there, cut and dry. I mean, this is a guy that he's a veteran's veteran.
Yes.
We're not a beat around the bush. Oh, well, whose feelings am I going to hurt? I mean, this kind of goes on that the conversation that we were talking about earlier was we can talk crap amongst veterans to one another and, poke fun at whatever their disability is or the fact that they have to go see, whatever. We can do that to one another as brothers and sisters that have served. And it's also one of those that we don't worry about their feelings because, well, one, we really don't have them like in that aspect, right? When we did this whole swear in, stand at like you de-issued your feelings. And then you're just a straight shooter.
The woke out of you years ago.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Doug's right there, like cut and dry. It's coming from him. It's not a news media source. It's not any other source. Like that's why, like, we really wanted to make sure to pull this video up. Was it's him saying it? It's not just somebody interpreting what he was thinking he was saying. Like, it's him saying it. Very cut and dry.
And here's the good thing. If he's lying, all you have to come back is grab this video and say, hey, this SOB said right here, okay? Yeah. He's just trying to be very transparent. He's under the impression that the president told him to fix this and fix it now. Okay. And he's talking to a guy that served in the military. He's talking to a guy that served as a congressman in the state that he come from in Georgia and in Washington, D.C. So he knows all the games, all the stupidities. He knows all that stuff. And he's got contacts. He's just not rolling into D.C. and he don't know nobody because he's a country bumpkin from Georgia. He's going in there knowing you turn left here, you turn right there. Oh, I used to live right over there. Blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Because right now, the people who's in the biggest demand in Washington are lawyers, okay? Because people getting called out, okay? Getting called out. And again, I'm waiting for the Epstein files to be released. That's going to be some stuff there. Okay, so that was his first video that he put out. He put it out after the first week. And then the second one is, hey, and it's a whopper of a video.
Got to king him for it.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. We're doing things differently here at the VA, and I've told you, you've been seeing me on video. You've been hearing me talk about it. We're putting veterans #1 back at the VA. That may be a little different than what we've seen in the past, but this is why we're doing it. And look, when you're doing things, you're making moves, you're making good moves. Motion causes friction. But, I found out something. I've been gone from DC for a little bit, but But I just found out undoubtedly Burger King has opened a franchise in the Senate side of the House and on Capitol Hill. I don't know what's happening, but Whoppers are flying out the door everywhere. Let me tell you what I've heard. Whopper number 1 going out the door. VA healthcare is going to suffer. That couldn't be anything further from the truth. In fact, what we've done is actually strengthen VA healthcare and VA benefits by actually putting a cap on that. We've protected positions so that veterans are not going to have any diminishment in their health or their benefits. You know how we did that? We blocked off 300,000 positions and said they're not going to be touched. They're mission critical. Because why? Our veterans are mission critical. Whopper number 2 is veterans benefits are going to be cut. I've told you they're not. I've tried to tell you this before. This was like a Whopper with no tomato. It just doesn't fit. Because here's the other problem with that. We took almost $98 million that were being spent elsewhere and put it toward veterans care and veterans facing. Those are the kind of things we're doing. So it's not being cut. Whopper number 2. And here we go. Whopper number 3, strike. This one is one I want you to really listen to. The VA is laying off people who answer the veteran crisis line. You have found out from me that I care about our veterans more than anything. And to think that this is actually occurring is wrong. We did not, hear me clearly, lay off any veteran crisis line responders. They're still picking up the phone. They're still talking to you, and they're going to be. Why? Because I said so. That's why, because the Secretary of VA puts a priority on veterans. Now, you've been talking about efficiencies in government for a while up here. Even Bill Clinton talked about it. Obama talked about it. But you know who did it? President Trump. President Trump's looking for efficiency so that we can do our job better. So like I said, when you want the truth, come to me, not the Whopper line up on the Capitol Hill. We'll see you next time.
There you go.
Ain't got time for no Whoppers and no tomatoes.
Nope. Got to have the tomato on there. Okay. So those are the 2 videos we wanted you guys to see, and we wanted you to hear it from the horse's mouth. And Doug Collins is, every time something pops up, he's making a video and he's telling you the truth. And hopefully, only time will tell. Okay. Don't sit there and say blindly walk into the light. Okay. Seeing is believing. Okay. Yeah. And I know we have people that work for the VA that's in here. I know we have VSOs that come in here. I know we have veterans that use the VA and stuff like that. So seeing is believing. Okay. Things got screwed up over time. They need to be fixed over time. But I'm going to tell you something. Trump is driving a Ferrari through that place. Okay. And he ain't stopping at stops. He's got some button that just keeps hitting green. Okay. And his staff knows you don't do what I tell you. We don't fix this. If somebody starts giving him guff about it, someone he's put in a position of trust, you can bet he'll fire somebody. He's knocked out 30 generals. They're gone. Okay. He said, hey, you can do it one of 2 ways. They're gone. Even the chairman of the Joint Chief fired.
Yeah.
Okay. He's done with the DEI crap. Okay. He's done with all that stuff and he's moving forward. So don't get in his way. Don't be a speed bump on his road. So there you go. So guys, here's rumors get started just to cause friction. Okay. Just to cause friction, to slow things down. Rumors get started because you're scared. Okay. You're scared that you did something in the past and now you're trying to cover it up somehow by getting judges to place injunctions and stuff like that to slow you down so we can catch up, so we can go back and look, okay, why did we do this? Why did we do Sesame Street in Iraq? And why did we do this? And why did we do that? So as you guys notice, everybody at USAID, they either got fired or, and that's the senior people, because senior people sign the checks, or they've been put on administrative leave for the crap that they pulled off. Okay, can't go back after the old regime and stuff like that because everybody got a pardon anyway, right?
Right.
So now you have to say, okay, you were dumb enough, because I was a Department of Defense civilian, and I'm going to tell you something. If it's unethical, Big Mike said something. Oh, wait a minute! I'm not just signing something to sign a check and pass some money around. Okay, but a lot of people aren't like that. They just say, "Oh, yes, sir. I'm a yes man." Okay.
Yeah.
Here's $1.2 million for whatever in Bolivia. Okay. What the heck? Okay. Or climate change in Belize. The weather's beautiful in Belize, guys. We already know that. We don't need to know, spend $1 million to see if shrimp lose weight on a treadmill. Who cares?
Yeah.
All right, we got people starving in the streets. I'm pretty sure there's places that could use that money in the United States, and I hope that's the direction we're going. Help people within the borders of the United States first, and then we'll see about people outside the borders. I get it. You need to build relationships with certain countries and stuff like that because it's in our national interest. I got that. Okay, but some of this BS, Big Mike ain't liking it. Mm-mm.
Well, and the fact that we're putting out more to take care of other countries than we're putting in to take care of our own people.
Yeah.
Like, and if we're not taken care of, then how are we going to help somebody else? Like the priorities. I mean, this whole change up in Washington and what's going on up there, it's much needed. I mean, we've talked about this before. The checks and balances, they're needed. Right? They're just finally getting people held accountable for that. And that's something that Doug had talked about in those videos of what he's doing with the VA. Like, hey, 300,000 jobs are mission critical. We're not getting rid of those jobs.
Yeah.
And that was the thing is, yeah, they want to throw out the announcement. Oh, they're going to lay off, 1,400 employees or, 5,000 employees. If they're not doing a job that is required, that is going to benefit a veteran that is receiving services there, then why are they getting paid to do that job?
Yeah.
They shouldn't. Like, they need to be gone. They're eliminating pointless jobs that we as taxpayers are paying for anyways.
Oh, yeah. And the other part of it is it's going to take time for all these government civilians to be reprogrammed to come back to the normal side, okay? The normal side, okay? You're a government servant. You're no better than anybody else in America, okay? Because you got a government job and you think you can't be fired and stuff like that, a lot of people, a lot of senior managers found out, hey, it's easier to eliminate a position and the person in that position has to go away rather than fight the system. I've seen that time and time again. They just get rid of the position, wait 2 or 3 more years, and then rehire it again, okay, and move the duties over to somebody else. The other thing that they got to do is on certain sides, and I'm not going to point out, certain sides of the government, you can't go beyond the scope of your duties. In other words, if your job is to be an accountant, okay, you can't have additional duties, key control, safety inspector or fire marshal or blah, 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 so on and so forth. You can't have all these duties where some parts of the government, like where I work, you had to do it that way and you weren't restricted by putting additional duties on the people or to request overtime through a format and so on and so forth. And we've got to change the way we do it. Okay. If you're a bad employee, you're a bad employee.
Yeah.
If they came to me and I got an email and I check my emails, when I was a director, I would get 200 to 300 emails a day. And the time I went home, I finally got through all those. Okay. But if they ask me, give me 5 things that you've done this week. Boom, shit. Yeah, here you go. Blah, blah, blah. Knock it out, send it in. But no, we're still whining and crying about it. Now, I get it. I get it that if you're in a job, like you're an FBI agent or you work for the CIA and blah, 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 sorry, I can't talk to you about that stuff. Okay. I can turn it into my direct supervisor. They can review it and say, okay, these are the things we can't send up, blah, 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 so on and so forth. You were in some foreign country and you were, taking out some bad guys. You can't put that stuff on there for
Right.
the public and stuff like that. The other thing that Doug talked about was everybody, and there's certain people in Washington that started this whole thing that Doge is in there and they're collecting your social security number. Well, hell, my dentist, okay, my realtor, my bank, the hospital, my doctor. I can go on and on and on. My credit card people, they all have my social security number,
Yeah.
But that's not what they're doing. But they see, the thing is these people want to make havoc happen. And so they got to do stuff like this. And there's one side that all their talking points, that's one good thing about them, is they keep their talking points and everybody spits it out the same way. Okay? Because they're thinking, hey, if Joe Schmo over there hears it enough times, boom, he'll believe it. Okay? Until they're all proven wrong. And then they sit there and go, but I thought that was true. No. Okay? Do your research, guys. You got to do your research on everything that comes out of that filthy sewer. It's called Washington, D.C. So here's a rumor. Is the government trying to reduce VA disabilities? Doug talked about that. And the answer is no. The government is not currently trying to reduce VA benefits. In fact, one of the 6 points that we talked about earlier on another video, on another live, was the president gave Doug, the VA secretary, 6 points that he cannot deviate from.
Yeah.
And one of them is taking care of the veteran and securing their health care benefits and stuff. Okay. He made it loud and clear that that's what you're going to do. And you are not going to screw this one up, Doug. Okay. And that's what he told him. Okay. So it's not. And some of the things that he talked about, VA Secretary Doug Collins has stated that the VA is not cutting benefits and is actually improving the services. Okay. And you also heard it in the video. The VA has invested, he was saying, just in health care and benefits for them, $98 million. But the fact is that the VA has invested $325.1 billion in veterans families, and veterans programs. Okay. It's already earmarked for it, guys.
Yeah.
And they're going to stick with it. And so that's fact. Also, the VA is also making annual cost of living adjustments, COLA, to keep disability compensation in line with inflation. Now, that's what they're supposed to do. Have they been doing it? No, they haven't. If you look at what inflation is and you see that you got 2.5% in January, is that up with the inflation? No. So here's my thought. If the president is saying you're going to keep this COLA with inflation, I'm thinking that if they're going to do it next year, maybe a little bit more than 2.5%. Might be like before when it was 6. Okay. And 6 is better than 2.5 in any day in my book.
Well,
So-
and the reminder on that too, like you said, was it didn't get this way overnight, being a hot mess, and like, so it's going to take time. But then when you talk budgeting, you do next year's budget this year. Like
Yeah.
you're always budgeting for the next year. So, for them, whatever they can make now, like it's probably going to be a 2 to 3, 4 year pipeline of, hey, they can raise it so much percentage. Like, so that's kind of where, don't expect, if you're watching this and expect that, hey, they said they're going to do a COLA adjustment. Like, I don't see you getting a 15%, increase
Yeah.
in 1 year, but they might, hey, we need to raise it 15%. So we're going to break that up over a 3 to 4 year span.
And see, the other thing is, I've already started seeing it on the news and stuff. Certain outlets are saying, "Hey, February's already done. Where's these big the deflation in the economy and stuff like that?" What? We gave you 4 years to screw this up. Oh, Conan the Barbarian Biden. He destroyed that whole system in 4 years. Where we were, okay, in 20 and where we are now, and it skyrocketed in there, and it came back down, it went back up. You can't just keep printing money thinking that's going to fix the problem, okay? So it's going to take some time. It may take a year. It may take 2 years. He may be leaving office and finally it starts going down, okay? But it takes time to fix stupid, okay? It takes time to do that. So anyway.
Yeah. So there have been proposals to reduce VA disability benefits in the past. Project 2025, for example, proposed to making it harder for veterans to get disability benefits. That would have included reducing the number of medical conditions that qualify for a disability status.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, if you read that, I didn't read it all. I read the veteran part of the 2025 manual that a bunch of freaking lunatics got together and made up. And I'll tell you what, if they did some investigating, I'll probably tell you where it came from. Okay, like a lot of things. People that cry wolf the loudest, it usually comes from them. We've learned that over the last how many investigations that they've found from the first Trump administration. But that was meant, that 2025 plan was meant to scare the bejesus out of everybody, because when there's chaos, okay, then certain parties rule best under chaos, and they can blame everybody else for it. Okay.
Well, and it's the other things that they're hiding.
Doing it themselves. And I'm sorry if I have people in here that don't feel that way, but I'm going to tell you something. There's too many things, too many investigations, too many special counsel that did their investigation that all came back and proved everything wrong. Okay. Yeah. So if you're one of those people, well, I'm blue through and through, and I don't care what anybody ever says, blah, blah. Yeah, we got people like that in the world. Okay. Because you're drinking the freaking Kool-Aid. Okay. You're drinking the Kool-Aid. You are basically, and I get it. When you have benefits, you don't want anybody to screw with your benefits. I don't care if you're on welfare. I don't care if you're on Social Security. I don't care if you're on VA healthcare. I don't care where you're at. You are not, 9 times out of 10, you are not going to vote for somebody that's going to get rid of a system, okay, that pays you. That's part of your life. I get that part, okay? But if you're not really entitled to it and you're just being a slave to the government, holy crap. You get
well, I think that word right there, the entitlement is where all the failure is going with all this.
Yeah.
Because the ones that are screaming the loudest are the ones that when you try to have a conversation with them, they feel entitled to things without any justified work or skill to deem that. Like, you want something, go work and save up your money and go buy that. Make your life what you want it to be. But this entitlement BS that's going out in today's society that they're teaching our children this, in schools and especially at the colleges, um, is that, well, they owe that to you.
Yeah.
Your parents owe you to go buy you a car. BS. You know what I owe you? Nothing. Nada.
Nothing.
I made sure you stayed alive till you were 18 when my responsibility came out. Like, guess what? After that, I don't owe you a damn thing. Like, quit coming at me. And I think that's where all this stuff gets crazy. Like, when you start talking about, people that are living off these systems, like, yes, obviously, right? Like, I rely on my retirement. I rely on my VA disability. That's what, keeps food in my fridge and my bills paid and, allows me to live my life.
Yeah.
And I would be very adamant about not voting for somebody that said, hey, they're going to take away all these benefits. The thing is, and I guess maybe more like for me, what we're talking about here tonight with the whole rumor thing is be careful what you listen to, though, and who you listen to and where you're getting your information from. Because the amount of, as Doug put it, the amount of Whoppers out there, right? Burger King is just flinging them off the grill, y'all. They're just getting them because you're not getting your information from, a vetted source. And you're only hearing the parts that they want because they want to create the chaos, the smoke and mirrors, because what's happening behind. They're pulling some BS so that we can make Muppet Street happy in Baghdad. Like, some of this crap that came out in the budgeting, I'm like, how did that even become a thing? Why are we paying for that?
Yeah.
Um,
And the good thing is people should be going, whoa, they found $2.7 trillion in wasteful spending. That should be the thing that grabs everybody's attention. Okay. If you're in a $2 trillion deficit annually, meaning you took in $5 trillion in taxes, whether it's your income tax, whatever it is, money paid out for things being shipped in to the states, no matter how they're getting their money, and you bring in $5 trillion in taxes, but you're spending $7 million. There's your deficit. And that's what we've been doing year after year, year after year. And do you know how much you're paying in interest on $36 trillion? You think that the interest on your home loan is huge? Could you imagine that your annual thing is $1 trillion just in interest? Okay. So when you find 2.7 trillion and say this stuff is gone, it ain't never coming back. Now you have to worry about, what bright ideas is Washington going to come up with now to spend more money in other areas and pet projects and so on and so forth? Who's going to be the watchdog that watches Congress and the Senate to take all that bullcrap pork belly out of all these Senate and House bills that they want the president to sign? You see what I'm saying? It doesn't just stop with finding who's got their hand in the cookie jar. Okay. It's finding out who's baking those cookies that's going into there. And that is the people that handle and manage the power of the purse. Okay. The Congress, the Senate, and the president. That's what they got to come up with next. I mean, they came out years ago with the line item veto, and the president can go, brand new road for $3 million to a chicken farm. Nope. That has nothing to do with health care. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because to get people's votes, you got to promise them stuff. And that's the way Washington works. And that's what they've got to break. That
Well, and
stuff.
that's always the crazy part. If you really start reading into some of these bills and these policies that they try to push through, and you're wondering, they put so much unrelated things in one category, because it's how they are able to hide and manipulate. Well, if we do this, this, and this, they're not going to look at these other ones, which means, that's going to pay for our vacations home in the Barbados.
Yeah.
And it's the completely unrelated, I don't know. It's sickening to me. And
It is.
I'm super excited. I know we talked about this because we talked about Doge and stuff. I'm overjoyed in watching this stuff go down. What I really hope that happens is I hope we start seeing people going to jail. Like, if you're gonna waste my tax dollars, then at least waste it in a cell. Like, I'll pay my taxes for you to be in prison because you just wasted, my hard-earned money for X amount of years to make yourself rich. Like, no, be gone with it.
Yeah. So here's another rumor. The VA is dragging out disability approvals, hoping veterans will give up on filing. Okay. So the VA is working to clear cases faster than ever. If you have any questions about your VA disability benefits, you can contact the VA benefits attorneys at the VA. And you can call that 1,000 number that we keep spewing, okay? Yep. The 1,000 number, and say, hey, I would like to talk to a VA benefits attorney. And they have to connect you or give you the phone number to the VA benefits attorney, okay? And you can say, hey, I've been doing this and trying to get my benefit, this claim done, and I've been waiting, and my name's Big Mike, and every time I call, they're saying, hey, it's in the approval phase. How long does it go to the approval phase? I've been waiting 6 months. I've been waiting. Do you think 6 months is a timely manner? Okay. If you're saying we don't have enough VSOs or case people to work the cases, then why aren't you saying, hey, Doug, you said that you're making it faster. How are you making it faster when somebody is 6 months fast? Is 9 months fast? I don't know. Okay, but you can contact that 1,000 number, and you can say, hey, I want to talk to a benefits attorney. Okay, and you can file with them a complaint about your case. Okay, you hear all these war stories about people saying, man, I put it in there and it got denied. I put it in there a second time. Well, the first time you did it, they could come back and say, hey, you didn't have enough evidence in there to stop a bloody nose. Okay.
Right.
Then they come back the second time. Yeah, you had this, but who the hell is, Barry Mohab or whatever his name is, and we can't read anything on here, and we think you're joshing us. Okay. And then you had to go get an attorney, and you had to pay whatever $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to get your claim through. Okay. When that comes to you having to get an attorney, that's when the system is broke like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's what they've had to do year after year in the past. That's what they need to fix. They should never, ever have a veteran have to go. It was too easy to fill out the form online and upload it right online at their website. That's all I did. It was too easy, but I had everything that they said you had to have. You had to have your Nexus letter. You had to have all your doctor's receipts. You had to have your surgery stuff. I just uploaded that whole thing, and I haven't heard back from them except it's in the approval phase now. So that's what I'm waiting on. I'm trying to see who gets faster, the VA doing my claim or the Social Security Administration to approve my Social Security disability over on this side. I'm going to see who wins. I'm going to see who's the fastest because I turned them in at the same time. So we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, but guys, if you want to relook at those videos that we shown you, those links are in the description. You can check those out. Again, you can also go to the VA YouTube site, and you can go on there and hit subscribe, hit the notification bell anytime they upload something so you don't miss anything from Mr. Doug Collins. Okay. Hey, there's Pacquiao. How are you doing, Mearns? Good to see you. She's watching us while she's washing clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dedication. We appreciate you for that.
That's right. Oh, man. We missed some comments. What'd she say? Someone steal stuff. I don't want to read it out loud. Terry goes, you need to read that one out loud. Entitlements are right. You're right.
Yeah. And I know Jesse was dropping a lot down through there, you know, the different definitions and what was, what the difference between entitlement and,
yeah, Jesse, I watched the news conference where DeSantis is establishing a Florida Doge to do the exact same thing in the state of Florida. And their goal is to find enough waste and abuse to cancel property tax in the state of Florida. That would be cool. And they're the first state. This is the first state to do it. They did it. They're doing it at the federal level. They're the first state doing the same thing. I wonder how many other states are going to grab the bull by the horns and say, hey, if they can find that much stuff, we should be able to find it. And now their goal is in Florida to end property tax. How huge is that? Okay. Now, a lot of people, there's no income tax in Florida. There's no income tax in Texas. But when you have that, your property tax usually goes a little bit higher than other states because you have no income tax. Okay.
Right.
That's usually how it works, but they're trying to eliminate the tax altogether. How are they making their money? Florida has a huge entertainment. Okay. Businesses are still paying taxes. The import taxes in the state of Florida along with the federal import tax, all that kind of stuff. They're making some money in Florida. For me, Florida is just a place to go on vacation.
Well, I was going to say the tourism alone. I mean, when you look at it, where people are going there for vacation and the amount, and that's year-round.
Disney probably pays more taxes just being Disney than a lot of states.
Yeah.
Collect. So Disney probably makes more. You can pick those states out. Wyoming, Montana, Maine, all these states.
I would imagine too, and I know this is always something talked about, right? Like amongst people, but if these state and federal officials, government employees, the senators, all this stuff, for them to be able to, I've been seeing it a lot lately too, where it's like, hey, they make $80,000 a year, yet they're worth 200 and some million.
Yeah. How
is that working out? Like, you shouldn't be in a position, if you're a voted in representative of the people, like you shouldn't be make enough to live. I get that, but the fact that you're able to take that, through backdoor deals, and I think that that's where they're going to find all the hurt and pain. But
Yeah.
if they didn't pay all these officials as much as they do, then that money could go back into the state and keep your highways going, and save us that are trying to live in it from all the taxes. I mean, that was one of the things when we were looking for a place to move, and that's why I ended up in Arkansas, because
Yeah.
if I didn't have the benefits as a disabled vet here, I don't think I would live in Arkansas, because I don't know how you would live here. You're
Yeah.
taxed on every dang thing.
Yeah.
And then I found out, like, our county is one of the highest tax counties in the state. And I'm like, go figure, but it's a retirement community.
Yeah.
So, which they're like, well, it's retirement. What do you expect? And I'm like, what do I expect? They're retired. Like, they're
Yeah.
living on a limited fixed income. Why would you tax them more? Oh, yeah, because you want to run them out. Like,
Well, it's like this new bill that's coming out, the federal bill, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. Okay. I don't care about the tip part, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that do care. Okay. And they probably would say, hey, I'll claim all of my tips, because I'm pretty sure, I mean, if you pay your tip with your credit card, okay, they see that. But if they slip you $5, $10 or whatever for a tip,
right.
who sees that going in your pocket unless you got the tax police inside your restaurant or your casino or whatever. And then there's no tax on Social Security. That's huge, because a lot of people don't make a lot in Social Security, and then they're taking $100, $200, $300 out of that little bit that you get to pay taxes. You know
and
what I'm saying?
What did part of that bill too? It was like they weren't going to tax your overtime.
And overtime also. You're absolutely correct.
That's the one that the kids here, because like the place that they work, they get a lot of overtime, at least a lot of opportunity for overtime. So they jump on it.
Sure.
And yeah, I mean, that would be huge for them, is the whole no tax on overtime. Because as I've seen it, I've never worked in a job that their overtime was an option.
Well, usually people get overtime to cover the taxes.
Well, yeah, but you get to a point like we had figured it out when Tara was working, especially doing nursing, that she could work, and I don't remember what the exact numbers are, but I'll just throw this in there. Like, she could work 8 hours of overtime in a week, and we would be ahead. But if she worked more than that 8 hours, or 10 hours, whatever, then we actually it bumped her into the next tax bracket, where she got taxed more, and basically she lost everything that she made on having to pay in at taxes.
Right.
Until we claim at the end of the year. But even then, we still weren't getting it all back. So it was like, you've got to find that.
Yeah, Jesse, I mean, you're absolutely right. When I was a director for the government, I had restaurants and stuff like that, and we had to fill out the paperwork on all the tips that came in, and that's reported. Again, you can't report something that a waitress takes and puts in their pockets and the register never sees it. So that's unreported tips. And you can imagine how many people don't report the cash tips, okay? Because they just go, hey, the tip's on the table. I do that sometimes, tips on the table. Or if I put it on the credit card, you can just, okay, you put it on the credit card. But if it's cash, they just go, phew, it's in there. Now, they may be an honest employee and they may report all their tips. But I have a good feeling that across America, there's probably a lot of people that's not reporting their tips. So, and it's paperwork. You have to do it on each individual and do tournament and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I did that for a lot of years. The financial part. Yep. I've worked for that. Yeah. Back in the early 70s, I made, well, actually a little bit more than that. I made $1.55 working at a gas station filling up cars as they came in, getting high on full octane leaded gasoline.
Right.
I love that smell. What'd she say? I worked as a waitress at a particular restaurant famous for wings. Tight orange outfit. Woo! I've been to that place many a time, but I go there for the articles.
Right. Only the articles.
Always tipping cash to the server directly now. Yeah. And a jerk manager who stole tips. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse's saying Lisa and I never leave a tip on a card because we've seen where the restaurant didn't pay the waitress accordingly and would keep portion of the tips. Cash is king with us. I tend to do it more that way.
But
used
it's
to be
harder and
horrible.
harder to have cash in your pocket because debit cards and that's just too easy, you know?
Well, right. Like I was always a big proponent. Like I didn't want to carry cash because if I had cash, that's what I spent first.
Yeah.
Like but now over the years, it's one of those that if I put cash in my wallet, which I typically always have cash on me now, but that's I don't want to spend it for nothing. Like it'll be one of those we'll go in and I'll pull the card out and Tara's like, "Don't you have cash? Can you pay?" And I'm like, "Oh, I guess I could." Like it's like, no, I don't want to spend this cash out of here because then I have change in my pocket and I don't want change rolling in my pocket and just this whole process that goes through.
Yeah.
But we found now because like the kids pay their portion of the bills, light bill and trash bill and that kind of stuff around here, and they take it out and pay us in cash. So that always gives
Right.
me some cash for us, But I was for the longest time, I never had cash on me. I'm like, I don't carry cash. Who cares? You put it all on a card. But I'm finding more and more that having some cash on hand can be very beneficial.
Yeah. Wow. 50 cents. All right. Hey, guys. Well, that's what we got for you tonight. Hey, if you hear a rumor, do your research before you start whining about it. Okay. Disney pays $1.1 billion
City, county.
in city, state, and county tax in Florida. Holy crap. Hey, I like to be a cop in that city, okay, in Orlando. And actually, it's not really in Orlando. It's in a suburb of it and stuff like that.
Kissimmee St. Cloud, yeah.
And if you didn't know that on Disney property, the United States Army, Morale, Welfare, and Recreation runs a hotel called Shades of Green on Disney property. So if you're a veteran, if you're active duty, if you're a family member and you want to go to Florida and you want to stay somewhere and it's got a PX in it, it's got all kinds of stuff in it, in the hotel, look at Shades of Green. Okay, Shades of Green. And it's a really nice hotel, guys. And they can hook you up. So just a little food for thought there. So, guys, hey, thanks for coming in. Again, if you, like we said, if you hear a rumor, do your research, bring it up to us and say, hey, this is what I just heard. Okay. And I'll research. I'm retired. Okay. He's cutting wood and he's building stuff and I'm retired and I will research it and we'll talk about that. Okay. So, hey, remember, be kind to one another, help somebody in need. And always think of that. Guys, thanks for coming in here. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Oh, and remember, Empty Homestead, Terry and I's channel. We go live tomorrow, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So please come join us on that conversation. And Jason?
Yeah, and so Tara and I at White Rock Homestead, we go live on Thursdays at 6 Central. Give our updates of what's going on. Try to put a couple videos out every week. So, but yeah, every Thursday night, part of the Homestead Hangout crew. Our time slot is 6 p.m. Central Time. So try to do that every week.
Yep. All right, guys. Remember, do your research. It don't hurt.
Read, guys.
Right.
Don't just
All
read
right,
the
guys.
first one.
We love you. God bless you. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye now.
Bye now.
Bye now.